I'm here with Mr. Robert Collins, who is the CEO of Savills Thailand, and we'll be talking about the prospect of London property market and it as an investment alternative for Thai investors. Well, welcome to the program, Mr.
Thank you.
Collins. We'd like to know the key factors that actually bring Thai investors to buy London property.
Thai investors have been buying London property for a long time. The cycle really kicked off in the mid-90s.
Yes.
When some prime Kensington properties were introduced to the Thai market. And the market, in terms of Thai buying, went into a bit of a slowdown in the following intervening period until about 2 or 3 years ago, when we found that there was a huge demand from Thai investors looking to buy very prime real estate in prime London.
Yeah.
And we've seen that trend is very much in an upswing at present, driven on the back of several factors, one being the currency exchange is very much in the Thai investors' favour.
Yes.
An increase in Thai students going to university and school in London in particular, as well as it's fashionable. There's a very emotional trend and purpose for the Thai buying in prime London right now.
Well, how would you compare the buying property in London with other financial centres in the world, such as New York?
London is definitely number one from a Thai perspective. The New York is arguably number two, twinned with perhaps Sydney, Australia. But London is by far and away the number one choice, partly because it's closer to get to as travel time versus New York.
Yes.
They drive on the same side of the road as we do in Bangkok, which helps, and language. So compared to other European cities, London is the easy option.
Okay. Could you tell us more about this project called Fitzroy Place? Now, what's the central location?
Well, what's interesting about Fitzroy Place and really sets it apart from the wider London market is its location, proximity to Oxford Street. The Thais have a strong interest in shopping, and London being the shopping capital of the world, the Fitzroy Place is located really 3-4 minutes walk from Oxford Street itself.
What is the expected yields or the capital gains for this project?
Well, it's in line with the wider marketplace of London. We're expecting to see the market increase this year by 3%. We go into a slight lull the following year, but due to various factors, the market is set to continue a strong upward trend over the preceding two years following that. So the capital value growth opportunity is really quite significant. And this is underscored from a lack of new supply in prime central London, combined with huge demand from international purchasers, particularly from other parts of Asia, Hong Kong, Singapore, China. The buying trend is enormous into prime central London, and this is what is supporting the capital value growth.
Well, in terms of percentage, could you give us a figure of Thai investors compared to other investors from other countries?
Very small. The Thai investment in terms of as a percentage is really quite small.
Yes.
Savills in Thailand, we have a unit that just handles Thai purchases into London. We would probably handle 90 to 95% of the traffic of Thai buying into London in the last 2 years. Compared to the numbers of buyers from Hong Kong and Singapore, it would be 5 to 10% of the region.
Could you just update us on the project? What's the progress now?
Well, Fitzroy Place was launched earlier this year. It's considered to be arguably the most successful new London development launched on record. The sales to date so far are really huge. We've had buyers from multiple countries around the world, including the UK, Hong Kong, Singapore, Thailand. It's probably the most successful UK project that's been launched in Thailand so far. Interestingly, we have an exhibition for Fitzroy Place will be held in Bangkok, 26th to 28th of October at the St Regis Hotel. So we encourage potential investors to join us for that exhibition. The development itself comprises 291 individual properties. The tenure is on a long lease. It's 990 years is what you receive as a purchaser. that's considered to be virtual freehold.
Thank you so much, Mr.
You're welcome.
Collins, for joining our program.
Okay, thank you.